Hello again. This is Hams from the patio, and we are subtracting decimals, and this will be part one. And so when we subtract decimals, you can line your numbers up along the decimal point like I have here according to place value, and then just simply subtract them. If your worksheet or whatever you're working on is have your problems horizontal, then again, you can change your problems to line them up according to the decimal point by place value and then subtract like you were subtracting whole numbers. All right, and so if you struggle with these, don't worry about it. I will show you how to do it. And so let's go ahead and get started on these. Our first problem, we have 47.38 minus 33.16. And we'll just simply subtract these. It's already lined up by place value with the decimals lined up. And so we'll just simply subtract these using the vertical algorithm or the standard vertical algorithm. And so 8 minus 6 is 2. 3 minus 1 is 2. And then we have a decimal here. Bring the decimal down. 7 minus 3 is 4. And 4 minus 3 is 1. So we have 14.22 is our answer here. All right, that was simple enough. Let's go ahead and work these out. So we have 395.76 minus 48.47. And so 6 minus 7, well, we can't subtract 7 from 6. So we'll borrow 1 from the 7 here. We're just borrowing 10. And that'll make this a 16. And then 16 minus 7 is 9. And then 6 minus 4 is 2. And then again, we have 5 minus 8. We can't subtract 8 from 5. So we'll borrow 1 or 10 from the 9. And that'll make this a 15. 15 minus 8 is 7. And then 8 minus 4 is 4. And then we'll bring down the 3 and get 347.29. Okay, next we have 715.49 minus 58.73. And so 9 minus 3 is 6. And then 4 minus 7 can't subtract 7 from 4. So we'll borrow 1 or 10 from the 5. And then that will make this a 14. 14 minus 7 is 7. And then subtract 8 from 4. Can't do that. So we'll borrow from the 1 here and make this a 14. 14 minus 8 is 6. And then, don't want to get this confused. And then we'll borrow 1 from the 7. Make that a 10. 10 minus 5 is 5. And then we'll bring down the 6, and we write that a little bit better. Out here we get 656.76. Right, and then finally we have 100.356 minus 73.729. Here we have some zeros, and I'll talk about that when we get to it in the problem. But we have 6 minus 9 can't subtract, and so we'll borrow 10 from the 5 here and make that a 4. Sometimes we just call it borrow 1. And 16 minus 9 is 7. And then 4 minus 2 is 2. Okay, we got this 3 right here, and we need to borrow from that, borrow from here. But we have these zeros. We don't have anything to borrow here. It's 0. And then we don't have anything to borrow here, so it's 0. So we'll have to borrow from the 1. When we do this, okay, that becomes 0. That's gone. The first 0, if we have multiple zeros like we have here, the first 0 will be 10. And then any zeros to the left of that, and we only have 1, will be 9. So like if I had 7 zeros to the left of this, all those zeros would be 9. So just a simple way to try to explain that. Now I can borrow 1 from the 10 right here. I'll borrow 1 from this 10 and make this 13. My numbers are real close on my page. Should have did this where the numbers are a little far apart. But I borrowed 1 from this 10. Now that's a 9 now. And this is 13. 13 minus 7 is 6. Bring down the decimal. Now we have 9, not 10. 9 minus 3 is 6. And then we have 9 minus 7 is 2. And then we didn't have anything else out here. And so that's what we're just left with 26.627. Maybe I should have made my numbers a little bit bigger on this. All right, but that's how it's done. Hopefully that helped you. And just go back and go through it slowly. You can pause the video and go through it slowly so you can see how I work those out with the multiple zeros. But other than that, that's pretty simple on subtracting decimals. And if you have more place values, I just tried to put a few on here, different examples. And then you can go ahead and watch part 2, where I have 4 more examples of subtracting decimals. All right, so that's all for this one. That's how I do it. And thank you for watching and wishing you much success.